Children will wait for few minutes. Let them join.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. The children, turn on your videos now. Sai Karthik, how are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Okay. Now your health is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay. So children, today we'll be starting with a new topic, which is the nutrient management. So last time we have discussed about the sowing process, how it has to be done, and in today's class we will be discussing how we should manage the nutrients, right? So I think we have already discussed few of the points, like, when we are growing the crop, certainly what happened if the same type of crop is being grown during that condition, then soil can become infertile because they will not be getting the appropriate nutrients, right? So what we should do in that case, we should either recharge it with the nutrients, or we should find some other methods, right? And how many methods are there for that? What we can do so that the nutrients can get recharged in the soil? What are different ways by which we can recharge?
Ma'am, add manures and fertilizers.
Very good. By adding the manures and fertilizers, we can do that. Then
Crop rotation.
very good. Crop rotation we can do, right?
Mixed cropping.
Very good. Mixed cropping we can do that. Then what is field fallow?
Ma'am, terrace farming.
Very good. Terrace farming we can do. Okay. What is field fallow? Have you ever heard the word field fallow? No. Okay. A field fallow is nothing but the process where we will be leaving the land as such for 1 year or 1 season. Okay. So maybe this season you have grown that some maybe crop there. Now for the next season, what you will be doing, you will be leaving it as such. Okay. So what happened? Automatically, the dead plants will be there, the dead organisms will be there, dead microbes will be there. They will come and they will be, on that land, and ultimately they will be getting absorbed by whom? By the soil, and that is how the recharge will be there. Okay. So two major ways are there. The first one is the natural method. The second one is the manures and the fertilizers. In the natural method, we have the field fallow, where, as I told you now, that we have to leave the land as such without any disturbance for maybe 1 season, maybe for more than 1 season. We can do that. And ultimately, with the help of the dead plants and animals, what happened? That land will be getting, recharged again with the help of those microbes or the dead plants and animals. The second way is crop rotation. So first year you are growing something else, or the first season you are growing some other crop, and the next season you are changing it with some other crop. So what happened? Both the requirement of the crops will be different, and ultimately you will be getting the good yield also. So there we can do the crop rotation also. The third one is mixed cropping. In the case of the mixed cropping, what we can do, 2 or more crops can be grown at the same time in the same field. Now, why we have to do this mixed cropping? It is useful for us to do the mixed cropping.
Yes.
How it is useful for us?
Ma'am, mostly we sow leguminous plants and the plants which need nitrogen. So the leguminous plants provide nitrogen to the other plants which need that.
But what is the connection of the mixed cropping with it?
Ma'am, so the soil nutrients stay remain.
So which kind of crop you wanted to grow in the mixed cropping? Leguminous plant you wanted to grow there?
Yes, ma'am, we can grow gram and wheat.
Okay, so as you are mentioning, that is basically the crop rotation only, where we can grow the crop, and along with that we can grow some leguminous plant also, so that they can provide the nitrogen. But in the case of the mixed cropping, why we are using the word mixed? Why? The reason is, in the mixed cropping we will be growing the two or more than two crops at the same time. Now, what happened? By chance, due to some other other factor, any of the one crop got destroyed, maybe because of the rain, maybe because of any kind of disease and all, then certainly the other crop you will be getting. Fine. So two or more than two crops you're growing at a land, so that if in case any failure of the crop is there, then in that case, at least something you will be getting out of it. If it is only one type, altogether, all the crop will get washed away, right? It will be getting exhausted. But if it is different type, then requirement will be different. And because of that, the survival of one crop might be there. So that is why the mixed cropping is important, so that to reduce the risk of the crop failure. Fine. Then the last one is the intercropping also we can do. In the case of the intercropping, what we will be doing, we will be forming the rows and all, right? So we will be forming the rows, and in that rows, the different crops we will be growing there. Now, what is actually the difference between intercropping and mixed cropping? Are they same, intercropping and mixed cropping?
No.
What is the difference in why it is like? Is there any difference or the same? See, in the case of the intercropping, the rows will be formed like this. Okay. Maybe we are growing wheat, we are growing some other crop along with that. So what do? We grow the crop in a particular row. But in the case of the mixed cropping, there is no particular arrangement. Okay. We are just sowing the seeds, whatever random way we are, wanted it. Maybe I am taking it in my hand, I am throwing it anywhere, and I'm growing it. That is what like actually happening in the mixed cropping. Okay. They are not worried which is actually needed, which is where, what is where. They are not worried about that. But in the case of the intercropping, the proper pattern will be there. If one row is of wheat, only the wheat seeds will be there. The second row is of any kind of the pulse, it will be pulse only. So likewise, a proper kind of the pattern will be followed in the intercropping, whereas in the mixed cropping, there will not be any kind of the pattern. Wherever they want, they will be sowing the seeds. Fine. In the crop rotation, it will be season wise according to the season. Tell me.
Ma'am, in intercropping, is it needed that at least one of the plants should be a leguminous?
See, if it is leguminous plant only, the proper amount of the nutrients they will be getting it. So definitely it should be.
Okay.
Yes, Sharan, tell me.
Ma'am, this time is science test there?
Yes, it is there. It is there. Actually, in some, maybe in our sir will be uploading the paper. Fine, he has uploaded the paper. Okay, he has uploaded it. Okay. So then this was actually the natural methods. Yeah, tell me.
I'm sorry, ma'am, to disturb you, but in the mixed cropping, all the crops are like mixed, ma'am. Like in a row, they are mixed or in a group.
No, actually, there is no pattern for that. They will be taking it and they will be sowing it. So no particular pattern. That is why these mixed cropping, whatever crop you will be growing there, they will be little cheaper actually. Fine, like why it is cheaper? It is because you have to actually sit and segregate them, right? So if it is like you're getting wheat, now wheat all together you will be segregating. The maize all together you will be segregating. So it will take time actually, and time consuming process this is. That is why it is like not actually suggested, but the farmers they have to do because they do not have any other option. They cannot rely actually on the rainfall, right? If it is suddenly heavily, then a problem for them. If it is very less, then also a problem for them. That is why to maintain a confirmation, they will be doing it a kind of the mixed cropping, so that if in case any of the problem is there, they will be on the safer side of it. Right? So these are some of the natural methods. And coming to the manures and fertilizers, which are very, very, very important part for the nutrient management. And like before that, I forgot actually about the micro and the macronutrient. I think those children who have written the AITs might be knowing about it. Are you aware what are the macro and the micronutrients? No? Sayati, no? Amatu, no. Lase
Yes.
saying no.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me what it is.
Ma'am, macronutrients are the ones which we need in like larger quantity, and micronutrients are the ones which we need in like lesser quantity, like than macronutrients.
Correct. See, in our body, we have the certain requirements of the nutrients, right? Some are required in the less, some they are required in the large amount. So those nutrients which are required in the large amount, they are called as macronutrients, and those are required in the less amount, they are called as a micronutrient. So basically, there are four major type of the macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and the water. They are what? They are the macronutrients which are required in large amount. Whereas micronutrients, they also have again two things actually. One are the vitamins, which are how many numbers? 13 in numbers, 1, 3. 13 vitamins are required in our body actually in less amount. Whereas we have 16 different minerals which are required. So in total, 29 micronutrients are required in our body. So are we taking those nutrients? I think yes, right? We are taking some other way, we are taking directly or indirectly, we are taking in our body. So macro, they are required in large quantities. They are the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and the water. Whereas micro, in the less amount, they will be required. They are the different types, 13 vitamins are there required, and 16 minerals are required. Fine, in the vitamin, you might have heard about the vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K. I think these are all things you have learned, right? A, D, E, K. Apart from that, we have the B1 complex also, right? Which has a different kind of the, sources of vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, B12, and vitamin C. Fine. So these are the certain names. We will be doing it now. And apart from that, the minerals, the 16 minerals which are required are the calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, magnesium, sulfur, chloride, then iron, zinc, molybdenum, copper.
Zinc.
Yeah, zinc also. Manganese and magnesium, two are different actually. Mg and Mn. Fine. Then iodine. Iodine are we taking in our body? No. Last is saying no. Yes, we are taking it.
So
Yes, ma'am.
We are taking it in the form of salt. Fine. So, like, copper also we are taking it. You might have heard, like, the parents, they will be saying that we should drink water in the copper kind of the vessels, from the copper vessels. So that whatever diseases are there in our body, they will be washed away actually. It is like saying, because the copper has a quality, it has a kind of the feature in it, that they will be removing away the diseases. Then fluoride is also there. So these are certain of the minerals which are required in by our body. Fine. So let us write some of. Charan, you have any doubt? Tell me.
Ma'am, actually, can I ask? My ma'am is doing this means explaining us the 7th lesson.
Cell chapter. Conservation of plants or cell?
No, ma'am. Adolescents.
That is 7th chapter. That is, I think, somewhere 10th or 11th chapter.
Now, the NCERT book has means rationalized, ma'am.
Okay, the rationalized one you are using. Okay, but tell me. Tell me.
So in that, a topic came as Adam's apple.
Yes.
Ma'am, why do only means some people means Adam's apple appears and some means do not appear outside.
See, actually, what happens, it depends upon the growth and development. Fine. In some of the boys, what happened, the growth happens at a faster rate, and because of that, the production of that larynx happen in a continuous way. And because of that reason, you will be able to see that the Adam's apple, or which we say as a voice box, or also we say it as a larynx, will be coming out. But in some of them, because of their improper development, but it does not mean that the functioning of the body is improper, nothing like that. But since the production of that gland, actually the larynx gland, is less, that is why it is not visible, but functioning is happening in a proper way. Fine. So that's a gland actually which is responsible, the larynx gland, which is also called as voice box and the Adam's apple.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So after this, we have the manures and the fertilizers. The manures are actually the basic requirement of the plants, natural actually. For that, we will be using kind of the cow dung, right? So with the help of that, they will be getting the appropriate growth. They will be getting the nutrients and all for the development. Now, is there any kind of the green manure? Have you ever heard of? What is that?
Organic and organic.
Organic. What is organic actually?
Ma'am, from nature.
From the nature, or sometimes what happens, some of the plants are there whose the body, whose the outgrowths will be responsible for forming the kind of the nutrients for them. So that is why, like especially the leguminous plant, fine. So leguminous plant, if they are dead also, in that case we can use them as what, as a kind of the manure. So such kind of the plant which are used as a manure, they are called as a green manure. Then fenugreek. Fenugreek is what in actually, I don't know in your language. You might have heard about the fenugreek, right? What it is actually? What do you call it as? In Hindi or in your language, what do you call them as? Fenugreek. The seeds of the fenugreek will be there. The plant of the fenugreek will be there.
Onions like that. Spring
No.
onions.
No. No.
Ma'am,
Just.
main
Huh?
Main thing.
Correct. Who said that actually? The methi. Yeah, Gagina. The methi actually is called as a fenugreek. That plant is also being used as a green manure. Fine. So generally that methi is very, very powerful. It's like, the person who has the diabetes or the other problems, the diseases they have, the heart problem they have, if they drink the water of that methi or the fenugreek, they will be getting fine in some time. So it's very, very important. And that also acts as actually kind of the green manure for the plant for the growth and development. Fine. The second thing is the composting also. So you might be knowing at your home, the fruits peels, the vegetable peels, all those things will be keeping, in a kind of the pit. We can keep it, and then the vermicomposting will be happen. So that kind of the soil also can be used, for the fertility of that plant. Then fertilizers are basically, they are made in the factories. They are not actually the natural thing, but yes, they are made in the factories. Now what happens when they are making the fertilizers? Those fertilizers has a fixed kind of the nutrient, like the natural one. If I talk about cow dung has almost everything, fine, but the fertilizers will have certainly a little one kind of thing only. Like if I talk about the phosphorus, they will have only the phosphorus in it. If you go for the other one, the maybe potassium, they will have the only potassium in it. So if you wanted to have all the nutrients, then you will be getting the packet of all the nutrients. But if you want the fertilizers which should be fixed only in one nutrient, you can get that also. It's like,
Ma'am, they concentrate only one nutrient.
it depends upon the fertilizers you are getting. It's like the Maggie. You have the plain Maggie and you have the different varieties of Maggies, right? Right? One Maggie will be the plain Maggie, which we actually love it. And the different varieties like spicy Maggie or the vegetable Maggie or all other Maggies are also there. Same way, the fertilizers will have all the nutrients together also it can have. But most of the time, it has a segregate. It has a separate type of the packets with a separate fertilizers in it. And why actually we are going for those fertilizers? Because sometimes, it takes more time to grow those, the plants using the manure, because it's a time taking process. So in that case, if you take the fertilizers and if you give to that crop, then what happens? Automatically, if the manure will take a year, that fertilizer will take lesser than, 6 months or 5 months to grow. And that is the reason the farmers are going for the fertilizers. But again, if you're using them in a high amount, it has a negative impact on our body. Because ultimately, those crop, who are going to eat them? We, right? So we are going to have the impact out of it. That is why the farmers will be getting the money, but we are getting so many other diseases out of it. So the fertilizers are harmful also. Fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other doubt?
Dry leaves are also used as the manures.
we can use them. Dry leaves basically you can use for the composting itself. So through the composting, it can be done, and then that soil can be used for the process. Fine. So between the manure and fertilizers, which actually has the advantages. The
Manure.
Karthik, you can close the door. Your brother will be coming again and again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So advantages are there for the manures basically. See, what happened, manures, they are natural, right? So they do not create any kind of the negative impact on our body, right? So generally you might have seen, might be, your friend's father, mother, or might be some other person, they might be working in a agriculture crop and all. So they generally, get the cow dung and they generally dry them and then use them as a manure. So it will be not creating any kind of problem or disease in our body. Second thing, it will restore the soil texture. So our soil will have a particular texture, right? So that will be actually restored by the manure. But if you use the fertilizers, no restoring will be there. The fertilizers will be entirely different actually. Then the third thing, improves water holding capacity. So whatever like the crop you're growing, the roots of that can hold the water. The roots of that can hold actually the water in a good way. Fine, much amount of water can be holded. Now, if they can hold the much amount of water, the growth can be proper. Fine, and moreover, the soil erosion will also not be there. So that is also important for the manures. Then it will make soil porous. Porous means where the exchange can be done, the breathing can happen. So that is also done. Fine. Then the most important what we have discussed is the replenishment, recharging of the nutrients will be there because of that. Fine. So that is how it works. Clear, children?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that is about the nutrient management that we have discussed. Now, if you have anything, you can ask first of all. Anything you want to ask? Yeah, tell me, Charan.
Ma'am, but fertilizers have advantage, means they provide more nutrients, right, ma'am?
See, they can have that. Just 1 minute, just 1 minute. See, fertilizers, they have the advantages that, as I said, one, if you need only one type of the nutrients to be recharged, you can take it from the market and you can give it to that plant. But certainly, if you are going to the higher amount of it, then it can lead to the disadvantage in the form of the diseases to you. Clear? Understood, children?
Ma'am, which one depends, which one concentrates on only one nutrient, manure or fertilizer?
Fertilizers, they will be having a kind of a fix, the nutrients in it. Manures will have all together actually. You cannot, segregate the thing there. But in the case of the fertilizers, you might have heard about also the urea is actually the name of the fertilizers. Then superphosphate is also one of the other kind of the fertilizers. So many are there which will be rich either in one, either in two, either in three, either all together also they can be rich. So depending upon the requirement of the farmer, they will be opting for it. Fine. So that is why generally what do? They will be going for the manures. They will be waiting for the little more time so that it can be the healthy kind of the crop. Fine. I think you might have heard about the organic farming. Nowadays, organic vegetables, organic foods are there. So what do? They will not use the fertilizers there because if they use the fertilizers, they will not be called as a, organic thing. So they will be growing it in a proper, by using the manure only, and that is why they are called as a manures, this organic farming. Fine?
Yes.
Now, how was the class last week? This week, the maths classes. I can see Alasya. Tell me. See, I don't want you to say anything. Just write in the chat, children. I just want you to write in the chat, and don't write for everyone. Write it for personally to me, okay? Just mention in the chat how was the class. I want to know the feedback. Personally to me only, not for everyone, children. I got 3 actually. Any other?
I'm typing, ma'am. Typing.
Okay. Okay. I'll just give you 2 more minutes in that case. Done, children? I have got, I think, almost 5. Still, I want to know from the rest of the 3 or 4 kids also. Karthik, actually, she has, some of the problem going on in her family. That is the reason she won't be continuing with us. Fine, so might be after some time she can join us back. But right now, some health problem is there. Okay, Gagana, Amatu, Charan, Bashit. Okay, fine. So why the other videos are off? Varshit, Charan, Rudra. What about you? How do you feel? Okay. So you have to, then in that case, practice more. So see, basically, children, what we should do is we always have to, practice maths. Maths required a practice. The more you will be practicing, the more marks you will be getting and more understanding you will be getting. And in the physics also. Maybe, you might be feeling like physics is little easier. But when you go to your ninth class and 10th class, it will become little complicated. Fine. I'm not making you to get scared, but yes, that is the truth. Fine. So that will be a little complicated, and bio will also become complicated when you go for your grade 9. So in that case, Rudra, what you can do, might be those questions where you're finding out difficult, you can just message me. I'll make it little simpler to you.
Ma'am?
Yeah?
Ma'am, I need my last week's marks corrected.
How? Which one?
Ma'am, like 2 or 3 questions I need. I wrote the correct answer, but I was given wrong.
Which subject are you talking on?
Maths, ma'am. Maths, ma'am.
Maths. Okay. So whatever that is there, just message me personally. I'll get it rectified. Okay. And one more thing, children. I think you might be knowing, or you might have read my messages there regarding the practice sheets. Have you checked those practice sheets anytime?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you doing that? Are you able to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Others, try doing those. Fine. Some of the questions are a little complicated, but some are a little easy also. So each and every form of questions are there. Complicated, easy, and the average also. So work on that. The maths also, I think it's being uploaded. The science also, I think it is being uploaded. And Charan, maybe you can remind me in the evening time, somewhere around 9 or 8:30, to send the what you asked for. Fine. So you can ask at that time, okay? 8:30 or 9 something, you can message me for that practice sheet, whatever chapter you require.
Okay,
and if in
ma'am.
case any of you also require, be it maths, be it science, maybe be it any other subject also, just let me know. If I have, I'll be definitely doing it. Because like last year I asked me for the social studies, I have provided. Fine. So whatever I have, I will be sharing with you. But you should tell me. Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, I'm Gautam Krishna. I need
Yeah, Gautam.
force and pressure worksheet, ma'am.
Gautam, okay, force and pressure. Gautam, just message me, maybe, around some 8:30. Children, just whatever your requirement is there, after 8:30 or 9, message me, then and there I'll be sending. Otherwise, what happens
Okay.
during this time, I might, forget that thing because I have the classes there, okay? So after 9, you message me, I'll be free for sending any of your, notes also. If you ask me, I can share that. If you ask me worksheet, I can share that. So any other help is required, I'll do definitely for that, okay? And by this, we are done with, I think, almost the half of the chapter. Now, in the next classes, we will be discussing about the irrigation. We will be discussing about the weeding, what are the different types of the other chemicals used for the weeding, then how to protect the crops and how to store them for the harvesting. Fine, so half of the chapter is done. And the notes of this chapter also I'll be sharing once I complete the complete chapter. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Gautam, I just wanted to know from you, just write in the chat, how was the maths class last week? I mean this week. Just write in the chat personally to me, not for everyone. Because others have written it, how it is. I just wanted to know from Gautam, just write it. And solve those practice sheet, children, for your half-yearly exams. And if in case some questions you're not getting, let me know. We'll do something for that.
Okay, ma'am.
Gautam, are you writing? Okay, children, then that's it. Let Gautam write. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good, Gautam. Thank you so much for your feedback. And if in case anything else is there anytime, just do let me know, children, so that we can work on it. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, children. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.